This is the Engines of Our Ingenuity, made possible by the friends of KUHF Houston.
Today, let's ride a gig or a hack or a phaeton. The University of Houston's College of Engineering presents this series about the machines that make our civilization run and the people whose ingenuity created them. Never was I so struck by the erasure of an epoch in American life as I was the evening I recently spoke at the Carriage Museum in Stony Brook, New York. I had little idea what to expect when I entered. I hadn't known I was about to see one of the finest collections of horse-drawn vehicles in the world. I'd hardly given a thought to horse-drawn transportation, and now I faced beauty and variety far beyond anything I'd imagined. It made me wonder what a visitor from the 23rd century would think on his first visit to a museum of 20th century powered vehicles. What a shock all that variety of Mack trucks, Duesenbergs, Fords, golf carts, and fire trucks would be. So it is with carriages. The array of carriages is newer than you might think. Riding alone on horseback couldn't give way to 3- and 4-wheeled vehicles until Europe began developing extensive road systems. The closed carriage probably came out of a Hungarian town whose name was spelled K-O-C-Z and pronounced coach. That was in the 15th century, and the name coach stuck. A century later, vehicles had evolved with leaf spring suspensions and better seating arrangements. Still, English carriage builders didn't form their first guild until 1677. By the 18th century, carriages were forcing the development of greatly improved roads. In 1815, Macadam invented his bituminous macadamized road surface. All this was sophisticated technology. We didn't begin serious carriage building on this side of the Atlantic until shortly before the American Revolution. The first uniquely American rig was the pleasure wagon, a light basket-like vehicle. Next was the American buggy, the 19th century Model T of personal transportation. We also built closed coaches, but utility seems to have marked American building. I see the greatest beauty in the lightness and buoyancy of those modest buggies, shays, and phaetons. A phaeton, by the way, had a light convertible top over a front seat with an open rumble seat behind it. Oliver Wendell Holmes celebrated that delicacy in his poem about the wonderful one-horse shay, which was designed so perfectly that it lasted 100 years and then fell into dust all at once. Holmes was a doctor wishing that the human body could work that way. One of the notable 19th century buggy makers was the Studebaker Company, but few other makers survived the transition to motor cars. The new engines were far more powerful than horses, and they soon devalued the lightness and grace of the old carriages. As a child, I saw the last horse-drawn vehicles on my city streets. They were by then shabby and worn. And I didn't know before I entered this museum all the functional beauty that vanished in a blink during my parents' lives. I'm John Lienhard at the University of Houston, where we're interested in the way inventive minds work.